Okay. Let me see here. All right, we are here. He said we late. Yeah, but I'm here, back. So I got a few people up in here, so we can go ahead and get to it. Welcome back, y'all. I know I didn't get on yesterday, but I was busy. It was a recovery day as well. And, like I said, some people think I'm ducking. What am I ducking for, man? Ain't nothing to duck. Ain't nothing to duck when it comes to these fights. We know how they can go. So, hang on. Let's get into it. Let's see. Ulysses said we late. Lafayette, what's going on? Brian Williams. Yeah. I think I'm subscribed to that channel. Yeah, I am. Karen Bryant's channel. Yeah, I'm subscribed to it. She's been around for a minute. And, she has been one of the supporters of WMMA. So, gotta show her respect. Karen Bryant been in it for a long time. Always, like to hear her commentary on the game. Marcus Bell, Robot, Running Reedy, O'Brien, Stamina. Let's see. But, well, let's talk though, man. Let's get back into this thing. I wanted to go back to 1FC, man. Last Saturday didn't go the way I wanted with a lot of these fights, but that's really what it came down to, was the level of competition. All these fights were pretty much, like a pick 'em when it comes down to it. They were all 50-50, like just about. Angela Lee, Stamp Fairtex. I went with Stamp just because I'm looking at her growth, her ability to defend on the ground. But really, Angela Lee just brought another level of grappling that Stamp Fairtex has never really experienced. And that's what it comes down to for Stamp, moving forward. I mean, Stamp Fairtex, she was in there with the solid fighter, solid champion. So from here, she's got to learn from the mistakes she made. I mean, the one thing I noticed about her approach versus Angela Lee looks a lot more comfortable as an MMA fighter, a complete MMA fighter as far as her movement. I think Stamp still shows a lot of a Muay Thai fighter. Like, she's a hard hitter, good striker, but I think her feet are too planted and she's not moving enough. She doesn't move enough to avoid these takedowns, and I think she overcommits sometimes to kicks. That's why I said, going into the fight, she can't overcommit, because when she does, she's going to get taken down, and that's why Angela Lee's game plan worked to put the pressure on Stamp. Y'all saw how she rushed in and just started tagging Stamp in the first round or two, like landing them shots, and, took her out of her stance, and that's what it comes down to. Like, when you're dealing with a stationary striker that picks their strikes, that's why Juliana Pena did that to Valentina, right? Her thing was to punch her way in and pin her to the cage and try to get it to the ground ASAP, right? So on this level, Angela Lee did the same thing, and it worked. She knew she was the better grappler, so it came down to it. I was like, okay, this is where we're going. I mean, Angela Lee definitely, like I said, looks more the part of like an MMA fighter, because of the way she moves, the way she strikes, the way she was closing distance to get takedowns. Stamp, I think she just needs to kind of be a little bit lighter on her feet, be ready to move, be ready to turn angles, stick a jab out more. Sometimes that stance she has is a little, like I said, still too Muay Thai. And moving forward, if she wants to beat Angela Lee or get back into them realms, when she faces more grapplers, she's going to have to tighten up on that, or she's going to have to drop that habit. Yolanda did. Valentina did. a lot of these fighters that came from Muay Thai, they got rid of that stance. So I think that's something that she needs to really, really make sure that she can go back to the drawing board and improve on. Marcus said we've seen this enough times with most fighters being able to adapt to the 2-year layoff. Yeah, that, and the fact that it was a good style for Angela Lee when it came down to it. She knew that she had the style to go in there, take it down, maul, stamp, and just take her to school. I mean, all them positions that she was like just transitioning from. 1 minute she was about to put her in an arm bar, 1 minute triangle choke, 1 minute, the twister she had her in, back to the rear naked, almost got a rear naked in the first round. So it's like, this is something she's been doing her whole life, and she's been able to, just fall right back in line with that style. And she knew that her grappling, even after 2 years off, was still too much for Stamp Fairtex. Now, I give Stamp some credit. Now, she landed a good body shot in that first round. I know y'all remember that. Like, he landed that good, that good body shot. And I thought that could have been the end of it. If she had been able to go in for the kill, when she landed that left hook to the body, I was like, oh no, Angela Lee's about to get up out of here. But shout out to Angela Lee. She recovered, bounced right back, got back in there, got the finish, man. Let me see here. I'm just looking back at some of these clips here. Man. Yeah, like that 2-year layoff, yeah, sometimes it just does wonders for fighters. Especially, I guess, if you're young. If you're like Angela Lee's age, I mean, that time off does more for your body. I guess you get to recover. She's only 25, so it wasn't like she was going to come back rusty, I guess, because this is what she does. She's still prime, ready to go. And she was probably feeling that urge to go back in and just get that work in, right? It's not like when you get older, it's kind of hard to pick it back up. But, Angela Lee definitely said, oh, I'm ready to go. And she came out storming the fight. She came out letting Stamp know, I'm ready to go. But yeah, moving forward, Stamp, she just has to just transition her style into more of a moving, elusive striker. She has to move, has to throw a little bit more volume. She's a good puncher. Like I said, that left hook to the body was beautiful, but there's got to be more dimensions to that moving forward. Let me see. Angela Lee versus Sohee Ham should be next. I can't argue that fight. That's a good one. What do y'all think? I mean, Sohee Ham, ain't no denying that she won this time against Denise Zamboanga, right? She said, hey, I'm going in here. I'm completing it. I'm going to complete this fight for sure. Y'all ain't going to try to say I robbed anybody, so I give her credit. Sohee Ham, much, much improved from the first fight. Yeah, Brian. Yeah, she let her tie up, man. Like, I was like, what are you doing? Like, I was glad she didn't, like, try to take her Angela Lee down herself, but she should have, like, created distance, man. Just create distance and just tried to land another big shot, like even a kick to the body. But, she let her latch on, man. I don't know, man. Like, that kill switch was there, but it just wasn't, she wasn't pinpoint. She wasn't on it. Yeah, she's got to be a little bit more offensive. That's what I'm saying. Like, when she kind of sits back, it works with some of those, like, inexperienced wrestlers like Ritu. But when you're looking at a pressure fighter that's looking for a way in, doesn't mind getting hit, it doesn't work that way. Like, you got to let go more. Like, she's got to let go in volume. and put the pressure on. Yeah, because that's one thing I always noticed. I was like, their style works for some of these fighters, but whenever Angela Lee came in with this style, I was like, oh no, like she just looks more like a mixed martial artist here. You know, just facing a Muay Thai fighter. That's what she made it turn out to be. I mean, Stamp defended well that first round, but that high-paced grappling was just too much. You know, it was just too much for her. Every which way she turned, she was about to get submitted, so she just got tired, and eventually, you know, Angela Lee flattened her out, and that was all she wrote, right? But yeah, I think Sohee Ham should be next. She gets a title shot. You know, she's been evolving, been improving. That's gonna be a good fight. Now, Sohee Ham, I think Sohee Ham would actually bring more threats than Stamp. Now that I look at what type of styles kind of disrupt Angela Lee a little bit. You know, there's a few different styles. I think Zhang Zidong, her boxing gave Angela Lee more troubles because she is more elusive with it and she threw more. She was hitting Angela Lee in all those little openings. You know, she was catching her. You know, she wasn't sitting back. She was more offensive. So I think somebody like her, Sohee Ham, the way they move, it'll be a little bit more, be more of a challenge. But I still think Angela Lee will have it on the ground. But stand-up wise, Sohee Ham, you know, her offense might be a little too much. But yeah, that was a good fight. You know, that card was good. I mean, it was like a 3-part card. Like, time did it start? Like 1 a.m. over here. So, you know, I was up on and off just taking a look at the card. And what's her name? Danielle Kelly made her grappling debut. Got a draw against Mei Yamaguchi. And that's how they do theirs. Like, if you don't get a finish, it doesn't go to like a point system. It's just a draw. If you don't get the finish, it's a draw. I mean, she did get a bonus, though, I think. You know, I guess for her performance. You know, I guess some people thought it was hype at first. But I was like, I guess it's because she was just out grappling and out skilling Mei Yamaguchi, even though she didn't get the finish. You know what I mean? Like, she was doing well, but she didn't get the finish. So, you know, they couldn't give it. You know, they couldn't give her the W. So they gave her a performance finish. A performance of the night bonus, I mean. But let's see, y'all. What else we got? Let's go to this card, man. Let's talk Sarah McMahon. Yeah, 50 G's. Yeah, she got 50 thou. And that's also an incentive to really, really keep her. You know what I mean? Like, when she get those, she definitely going to be like, I'm staying. I don't know, man. Like, ONE FC and, like, some of these overseas organizations, like I said, these fighters overseas, Ukraine, Russia, like, they show more appreciation to their fighters over there. I know everybody says, oh, all these women over here say, oh, the UFC is where it's at. But, like, I don't know, man. Some of these other women, you know, foreign women overseas, Ukraine, wherever, the ones that go to these other organizations, it seems like to me they get treated a little bit better. You see, Stamp and Angela Lee got the main event over Demetrius Johnson. So that means something, right? Over here, it's still hard for, like, Valentina as a champion to get a main event over some of the men, right? Even though she's considered one of the more dominant champions, more consistent champions, you know, right? It seems a little bit harder for women to get a main event here. So when I look at these other organizations, I'm like, maybe the UFC doesn't necessarily mean it's the end game. Like, there's other places to go. Because, like I said, Octagon, like Lucy Pudilova, I don't think she ever needs to come back to the UFC. Ain't no need to. It really ain't, you know. Let's see here. But Carol Rosa, I had to pick Carol Rosa over Sarah McMahon. I know some of y'all did. I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one, but it was one of those situations, man. You just cannot underestimate the veteran. You just can't underestimate the veteran. I mean, I see why Marcus said his pick was like dangling. It was slipping. I mean, oh man, I could see it too. Like I was like, something tells me this might be like Raquel Pennington versus Macy Chiasson. You know, not as bad, of course, because she didn't finish her, but it was still that same type of situation, man. These older fighters still have too much in the tank for them. It's either they have too much in the tank for them or they don't have enough in their game yet to step it up. Because, I mean, you see these other ladies in the flyweight division like Taylor, Manon. They going out there beating these veterans, right? But it's like Carol Rosa, Macy Chiasson. The minute they step their game up with Rocky, Sarah McMahon, it's like they never saw what was coming. I mean, Sarah McMahon, you know, we know her for that strength and her wrestling, but I thought Carol Rosa would have had an answer for that. Even when she got to the ground, but she didn't. Like, she put the blanket on her, man. I was like, yo. And the thing was, like, Sarah McMahon was not only putting the blanket, I mean, when it was standing, she was hitting her with some good punches. Like, Sarah McMahon was actually going to the body here. Like, Sarah McMahon's footwork and her striking actually looked pretty good. You know, that's why I was like, it wasn't a boring fight to me. Because, like, when she was standing, she kept it entertaining. You know, she was hitting Sarah McMahon. I mean, she was hitting Carol Rosa with overhand right. I was like, yo, like, I thought this was supposed to be Carol Rosa landing bombs. Like, Carol Rosa's supposed to be boxing and banging in the inside. But nah, man. McMahon is hitting her clean. Clean to the body. Clean overhand rights. And just taking her down and gassing her out, man. Like, I could barely give her the third round, man. Like, I think the judges gave the third round to Carol Rosa. I couldn't even give her that. I had a 30-27. I mean, she had good moments. But even in the third round, you saw Carol Rosa came running out. Like, she wanted that finish because she knew she was behind. It was, at first I was like, this ain't going to work. Then Sarah took her down. I was like, yeah, this ain't going to work. That ain't enough. And she was landing some elbows off the cage. I was like, okay, she got in a few good strikes. But Sarah still, to me, got the better of the wrestling. And she slammed her. I was like, she picked this, you know, good, strong size girl up and slammed her. I was like, yeah, Sarah still got it. I mean, 41 years old, she took her. She said this is a mother-daughter thing. She going to whoop her like that, you know. So, yeah, I mean, I could never completely count her out. I was really just hoping that Carol Rosa was ready for the test. I mean, and ready to take this division somewhere. But, hey, man, can't blame her, man. Can't blame her. I mean, some people say it's time for Sarah to go, but you can't fully say it's time for her to go because nobody's retired her. You know, it's not like JoJo. Like, Grasso did what she was supposed to do. Manon did what she was supposed to do. Casey O'Neill, you know, Roxy was out on her way out anyways, but she still beat her. Like, she didn't lose to her. So this was Carol Rosa's moment to be the top 10 fighter with that old era, but she just didn't have what was needed. Like, didn't have the takedown defense, didn't get her jab going early, and she was waiting too much. It was like she didn't expect Sarah to stand with her. You know? So it sucks because now it puts the division even more so at a standstill because now you have Sarah McMahon who has enough to beat these type of fighters, but still might not be able to get in there with like Juliana Pena or Nunes, right? Or a Holly Holm. You know, so she's kind of put the division right there back where it started. Holding them off, but still might not beat these high level fighters. So we'll see, man. Let's see. The Oxygen Thief. Yeah, man. The Oxygen Thief, man. I'm like, she put it on her, man. Hey, Robot Chicken said, I thought Sarah was going to gas after the first. No, she took that oxygen, man. She said, I ain't gassing. She said, I'm taking all of your energy. I think she fought at a much smarter pace. That's why. Like, if you go back and look, like, she was fighting much smarter, even with her stand-up game. Like, even when she got to the ground, wasn't a lot of unnecessary wrestling there. Marcus said, but seriously, Carol Rosa didn't fight anyone on the Sarah McMahon's level. No, she didn't. That's why I was saying this is her big stand-up moment, like, to really prove she is on that level. Yeah, she's never fought anybody on this level at all. Brian said Carol showed killer instincts. Sarah was pretty active. She just doesn't have any BJJ. No, she didn't really. Yeah, Carol hasn't dealt with this type of wrestler. Yeah, I was looking on her resume, and I was talking about that earlier. I said, I don't really see anybody on that resume. We'll just see if she can, do this thing on the fly and see if she has the striking or at least the takedown defense to keep her off. But no, she didn't have it. Because let's look at Carol Rosa's resume. At 15-4. Being in the UFC, yeah, she's only dealt with fighters that were a tad bit smaller and haven't really no ground game. We go back to Betchko Ware. We know what Betchko Ware offers. She's a brawler. No ground game there to worry about. Jocelyn Edwards, she actually made Carol Rosa look like her ground game was exceptional. Because, Carol Rosa was taking her down and dominating and, landing good ground and pound in that fight. Just a big strength difference there. Vanessa Mello, same deal. She was owning her on the feet. Close fight with Laura Procopio. That was her first fight in the UFC. Laura Procopio gave her a couple of fits. So, yeah. And before she got into the UFC, she had lost to Gatto and Pacheco. So, yeah, this was really like her moment to come out and say, I'm going to show you what you haven't seen yet in this type of fight, right? Yeah, Ulysses, yeah, McMahon asked for GDR, and I don't have a problem with that at this point. At 41, when GDR comes back, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, if her wrestling is on point and she can get it down early, I don't know. But we know how GDR, her ground game has been improving, and her striking is always the best, some of the best in the bantamweight division. So I can still see GDR winning that. But Sarah, man, like 41 years old, she came in and put that strength on Carol Rosa and said, no, this ain't for you yet, right? She said, this ain't for you. So what's next for Carol Rosa? That's the question. Julia Avila, they were supposed to fight a while back. She can't really get back in there with the top 10. I don't want to see that. So that's why I said it's time they sign more bantamweights, y'all. It's time they sign them. Avila, yeah, because he's number 12 now. Lost to the number 9. It's Panny Kansan. Panny has a fight coming up, though. Get Norma Dumont out of there. She's a featherweight. I don't know, man. I really don't. What do we do? I don't know. I don't know at this point for Carol Rosa. They'll get somebody, I guess. That's why bantamweight is such a slim picking division, man. Because, outside of the top 15, who else is there that's unranked? Oh, yeah, she's pregnant now. That's right. Yeah. Julia, she had an injury, and now she's pregnant. So, I guess he said that was the best time to do it now. Have the baby now. while she's on a layoff. All right. Yeah, with her out the game, she's 33. Time's going, but I mean, you want to have a baby now, I understand you want to go ahead and have that now because at age, age is catching up. You want to go ahead and be able to pop out those kids now. So, yeah, she'll be out the game for a minute. They just need to sign more bantamweights when it comes down to it, man. Yep. Stamina said might not. You know what he means, Stamina. See, I know how to read Marcus's tone. Like, Marcus is saying that in like a, what type of tone. Marcus is saying that like, Abby might not be coming back for a while since she's pregnant. He's not actually emphasizing the might. I know he playing around. Maybe you got to be playing around. You can read that tone. Marcus is saying she might not be coming back. He's saying that in a way like, it's pretty much a given that she's not coming back for a while. Yeah, Mark Rouse, I'm happy for her. Go ahead and have a baby now. She's been with her husband for a while. That's an important part that especially for a woman to go ahead and do that now, because in a few more years won't be able to have them. Yeah, she was actually supposed to fight Carol Rosa back in 2019. Like, they canceled that a number of times, I remember. But whatever, we'll talk about more bantamweights this week. We need to talk about bantamweights because the bantamweight division is on the brink of extinction, right? So we'll talk. All right, let's go to Manon and let's talk about Jennifer Maia and Manon Fiorot, that match. All right, what are y'all thoughts on Jennifer Maia and Manon here? I talked about it earlier. I talked about her dominance factor, but I just want to come back here and just say, Manon did a good job of using everything that she is capable of to shut down the veteran. The veteran was kind of put in a place where all she could do was kind of sit back and show respect. I mean, she could do only what she could do. Let's put it that way. Like, Jennifer Maia took advantage of a few openings here and there, but the minute Manon would catch on and say, "Oh, she's trying to take me down," or "Oops, I got caught with a good shot," she go right back to, Manon would go right back to work, and Jennifer Maia had to go right back into her place, So this is what we want to see, though. Like, want to see more. No, you stand over here playing that double X game, trying to bait. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing with you. Okay, so let me pull this thing up. It's taking forever. Okay, there we go. Yeah, Manon Fiorot showed that dominance factor I'm always talking about. Like, if you want to be somewhat of a threat for this division and somewhat of a threat, somewhat of a challenge to Shevchenko, you have got to go in there and show that you're above every contender you face. And that's what Manon did here. Manon showed some work on the ground, showed some work in close, shoulder striking. But let me pull this up here. Yeah, but Jennifer Maia had her moments, but Manon had more moments. So that's what you have to do. If your opponent in this fight, it's supposed to be a big fight, they try to come in there and shut you down, or they find those openings, you have to come back and say, "Oh, I'll make an adjustment on that," and shut that offense down. think Manon did a good job of really controlling distance in this fight and turning them angles, similar to how Valentina did. I just see more volume here in Manon. That's just her style, But when it comes down to it, Jennifer Maia definitely did put on a better performance than I think she did against Caitlin Chookagian. I think she knew that this had to be that moment where she stepped her game up, and she did. She tried. She tried. A little bit of combination of both, where Jennifer Maia was coming on strong, and then you still had Manon still a little, green to this elite level. She, had stepped into some shots, made some careless mistakes, but that's what you do. I mean, to get better, you make a mistake and you improve off of it. Like, there's sometimes Manon pulls straight back, or she'll leave the midsection open. And like I said, like, I see different things here. Like, I'm not going to be one to say I didn't see it. Like, besides the head kick in the second round, y'all did see the body shot that Jennifer Maia landed, right? Y'all saw the side kick to the body. Like I said, I'm looking. That's what I'm saying. Like, I have to call certain things so, fighters, we can say, hey, this is what they need to work on. Like, Jennifer Maia did land a good right kick to the body that kind of like it touched Manon a little bit. I kind of saw her hand go down to the midsection, like it might have stung her a little, but she took it well. She took it well. So I gotta give her credit there that, she's taking big shots to the head and to the body, and, came back and turned the game up, made the right adjustments. Mark Robinson said, I'm not surprised, but it was not a good strategy for Maia to chase Manon the entire game. It felt a lot like Joanna versus Andrade, with how much Andrade was going forward no matter what. Yeah. I wasn't really surprised either. Yeah, but there should have been more controlled pressure fighting. Like, as she landed her left hook on Manon, there should have been more body attack and stalking instead of chasing. There should have been more cutting off the octagon, going up top with the left hook or the overhand right, and more feints with her takedowns. You know what I mean? A little bit more unpredictable styles, where she needs to mix in. Like, you can't just dive in, telegraph. That judo toss is dangerous for a wrestler or a grappler. Yeah, it is. Oh, you mean like for if Manon does it to like a grappler, you mean like they can get the back, right? Like, if you toss something like that, they can counter and get the back quick, right? And that's what I thought was kind of crazy, man. Like, Maia didn't really know how to capitalize off of that moment. Like, get judo toss, like, boom, on the back. And got flattened out a little bit. Got in a little bit of work. Escape. Went back to controlling. Yeah. That's why I was like, when she got that judo toss, I mean, yeah, let's talk about that for a minute, because Jennifer Maia should have, everybody said, ground game should be what was going to be the biggest strength here. We should have seen her go for some type of counter there, or trying to get to that back. But that just shows the strength and quickness of Manon. But I mean, moving forward, I really wouldn't want to see her judo toss like a Taylor Santos or even like a Miesha Tate, you know what I mean? Because they will go after it. Because, that's textbook. Stamina said Maia's cage cutting or lack of thereof was a little frustrating. Yeah, it was. Like, lack of it was frustrating. I mean, Manon just took advantage and said, I'm out here, I'm there, you ain't catching me. You know what I mean? I thought it was a dominant win. I think to me, it was a little bit more, it was dominant more than the Mayra Bueno-Silva fight, just because she was able to go here and go there and do what she wanted. I think she pretty much took every aspect. Like, Of course, yeah, it could have been even more, but I think for somebody fighting a 13 to a number 4, that's pretty impressive. I have to give her credit for dominating the fight and the pace of it as well. Brian Williams says she cut the whole. Brian got that autocorrect on again. He gonna have to retype that. He says she cussed the whole time. You mean she cut the? Yeah. I'm not gonna be able to decipher this one. You might have to retype that. Decipher. I know you said the shuffle she did right before her 1-2. Yeah, I see that. I saw that. Yeah. Retype that for me, Brian. But moving forward for Manon, one of the things we need to see is, I think, to be able to take Shevchenko and give her a tough fight, we got to see her be a little less predictable with some of the strikes. The side kick is a very, very big part of her striking, I think. And I think it can still be effective in a Valentina fight. It can still be effective in any fight of hers. But I think it just needs to be used a little bit more with, I say, it needs to be a little bit more economical with it. Pick her times, pick the openings. I mean, I do like it because she uses it like a jab, but I think when fighters see you throw it all the time, they might start to pick up on it and just know for sure this is what that person does. Like, a side kick is never going to be fully like a jab, because people can know you're a jabber, but you can still shut them down, right? Because the jab is a quicker strike. Jab, it's effective, it's easy, it's simple. Doesn't take a whole lot of technique and a whole lot of range or a whole lot of space to think of. That's why it's a very dangerous, at the same time, simple weapon that can get you what you need, because it doesn't take a whole lot of art behind it. You can throw it different ways, different skill, different techniques with it. But the side kick, I know she uses it as a jab sometimes, and it looks like it hurts. You know what I mean? So it's definitely a good offensive weapon. But I think moving forward in some fights, it's going to have to be a little sparingly. Use a little sparingly. Of course, some of the lower level flyweights, yeah, you can use it on them all day. Like, I think you could eat some fighters up with it. Like, even Chikagan, might want to work her breadbasket with it, right? You definitely want to hit her in the stomach with it. But, like, in championship fight, pick it and use it wisely. It's very effective, though. Because, she was hitting Maya with it constantly. Like, hit Maya in the hit one time. I was like, oh, well, I know I hurt Maya. So it's just one of them things, I think the higher level you get with it, you have to be careful. Yeah, okay. He said Maya chased the whole time but never cut off the cage. Right, she never did. That's what I was saying. She never really did. Yeah. Brian Williams said, yeah, that's a good point. That's what I said. Like, it's like her jab, but she already had like T-Rex arms. Like, I think if she slouched, I won't even say slouch, but like if she bent over a little bit more, she could get the jab in. Like, you got to. You still gonna need to develop a good jab. It's good to have both for her. James G, what's going on? He said he just got off work. There you go. Hey, praise the Lord, right? You can get off work. That's a good thing. But we really just been talking about Manon, and we talked Sarah McMahon. But yeah, she could develop a jab though. Because with that side kick, gets taken away, you're gonna need that other weapon. Like, I like it. I like how she uses it, but I don't want her to be too predictable with it, where you say, oh, okay, I know what she's gonna do. Just a sidekick. Shut that down. We're gonna time it. We're gonna catch it. We'll take her down. You know what I mean? But on the bright side, if it does get caught, she does turn out at a nice angle, to kind of pull her leg away. And if you do catch her for a single leg, she's strong. Her takedown defense is good. So Manone's takedown defense is always going to, for the most part, it's going to save her against some of these fighters that want to, go in and grab it, take her down. Right? So that's a good thing. But yeah, I do see that as her jab, she throws that thing out, that thing does, it does work. But yeah, for big long flyweight, I think, she only has like a 65-inch reach, surprisingly, Caitlin's reach is long though, right? Caitlin's got like, what is Caitlin's reach? I know Caitlin's like, 68, 69, a little bit longer than that. Let me see what they list Caitlin Kagan's reach at. Because she's 5'9", so he's a big, long fighter. I want to say Caitlin Kagan's reach is pretty gangly. 68, yeah, it's a 68. And she uses it, So, yeah. Very, very interesting, though. Yeah, she has T-Rex arms, for somebody so long. She got a long torso too. She got a long torso, but long legs, but yeah, it doesn't have like the long arms. Well, it might be good for throwing hooks. That's why she uses that check right hook a lot, right? Mark Robinson said, I wouldn't have been mad if Maya played Manone's ego and did a Kai Kara Friends and pointed to the center of the octagon to challenge her to stand and bang. That's better than chasing the ghost. Yeah, that probably would have been better. Even though, she probably wouldn't have done it. Yeah, like, instead of just, like, chasing somebody all night, that just means you play into their game. Kind of like what Mazo should have done to Agapova, right? Instead of chase her all night. Yeah, she does time it well. And yeah, like I said, a lot of the lower level fighters, they probably won't. But, I'm just thinking of like when you get to Valentina, I think, Valentina has an answer for a lot of things. So I think that's the level I'm kind of looking on into the future. But yeah, like it is thrown at a nice rhythm. But I believe that, when you get to that point, they're going to be looking at how she throws it and how her position is even before she throws it. Like, it might not be telegraphed, but when somebody gets into a certain position, you're going to look and say, okay, I know what she's about to do. But you know what? I mean, I forget this. She was throwing she was mixing it up, though. Like, she was hitting the lead leg, too, with Jennifer Maia. She was throwing some nice ones to the lead leg here. So that was a nice adjustment. So let me give her more credit there. Like, she just wasn't going to the hip and to the body here. She was hitting the side. She was on the side kick to the lead leg of Jennifer Maia, and like, the commentators were saying it's like they kept thinking it might end up like Khalil Roundtree fight, right? And that was So she was doing a good job with it. So improvements have been made. So you definitely want to see her keep it in the arsenal, definitely, all day long. Yeah, okay, yes. I also think Val would think to chew up that lead leg of Manone's and reduce her mobility. Yeah. Go ahead and start attacking that calf and that ankle early. Brian Williams said Manone needs to chill with those jumping attacks, though. Yeah, I really wasn't feeling those attacks. Yeah, I really wasn't feeling those attacks myself. Like, they really didn't. She landed like one flying knee to the chest, and I was like, yeah, that wasn't really necessary. Like, we needed to just go off and do, keep this thing grounded and just keep doing what's really breaking her down. Like, yeah, the jumping attacks weren't really effective. Too risky too. James G. I forgot. Has Grasso and Arujo fought yet? No, not yet, James G. I still would like to see that, but no. Viviane Arujo got Andrea Lee next. Maybe they can fight after. Still, that would be a good fight, though. I know that fight would have been a heck of a lot more competitive than the JoJo fight. Man, that would have been a good fight. Mark Robinson said, if Manon makes it to Val, I doubt Val will be doing the chasing as the champ. Val tends to stand her ground and defend. Yeah, she does. She tends to, stand her ground. Every now and then she'll, like the Jennifer Maia, like round 4 and 5, she'll come after you. She will. Like, when there came to a point where she wanted to stop her. Like, she started boom, boom, turning it up on Jennifer Maia, hitting her with harder shots. Like, you remember that part where she started coming forward on Jennifer Maia? But I'll say this too before I move on to it. Manon, I think she has potential to be a good challenge for Valentina. I mean, if she is strong as she is, like the way she handled Jennifer Maia, and if her work rate can go up, if her gas tank is built for 5 rounds, and she can weather like Valentina's best offense, like striking wise, or if she can stuff takedowns, and she can not be intimidated and step in the range and get a flurry off or two, she might be able to do it, man. She might be able to give Valentina some work. I mean, like I said earlier, if she can clean up like what Joanna did, and maybe if her takedown defense is better, or at least if she's stronger than Joanna, and she can maybe throw some volume here and pick her barrages wisely, she'd be effective. Yeah, it could be. That's why I say it could be. That's why I said before, everybody starts saying, oh, you crazy. Nah, man, I'm just saying, like, she could be. Like, I'm going to go back and watch that Valentina versus Joanna fight. Like, I know Joanna and Manon aren't, like, the same fighter. They don't have, spot-on styles, but I think you're dealing with, like, another mobile striker with physical strength. Maybe she can last long enough to have her moments. Make it a tough fight, but we'll see. And I put this picture up here as y'all see. Caitlin and Manon. I like to see that. I mean, hey, Caitlin acknowledged it. Manon called it out. Why not, right? That's a good fight. So no need to rush Manon into a title shot right away. I mean, yeah, I said she's 32 and she needs to move a little faster than some of the young guns, but that's a little too fast. She's already one step ahead of these fighters like Casey O'Neill and Aaron Blanchfield and the newcomers. So she's moving at a decent pace. Taylor Santos is already ahead of her. So in the meantime, a fight with the number 1 contender is not a bad fight. And I mean, if you got the skills to do it, do it. If we can see it, if it can happen, and she feels like, hey, I can see myself winning this fight, why not? Beast the Ebos fight. Caitlin said, I'll take it. Caitlin actually reposted it. Yeah, because I know you don't have IG, but yeah, I reposted it as well. Caitlin said, we can do this. Caitlin heard her name called. She she posted that same clip and said, "Hey, I'll fight you." So yeah, I like it. Mark Robinson said Manon is 100 problem. Yeah, she is. She's a problem. Yeah. Now, it took some convincing. I mean, this was a good one to convince people with. Big step up. She would skip ahead here because Jessica I didn't want that fight. So now the next best thing comes along, and even better fight. And got to prove herself against the number 4. But yeah, Caitlin promotes some problems going into this fight, but I think Manon has what it takes. Like, if you can't hurt Manon should know to be a little bit more, even more so aggressive here. Like, I'm talking body, head, stalk. She be the stalker here. You know what I mean? Don't get sloppy with taking Caitlin Chikagan now, because Caitlin is also a brown belt, right? Let me make sure. Yeah, Caitlin's also a brown belt. Manon's a brown belt. Caitlin's a boxer. Caitlin knows how to avoid big punches. She knows how to take power away. She's got a gas tank on her. It's been proven time and time again. She can be hurt. So that's where Manon's wrestling and her clinch work and her strength should come into play. That's where her body attack and her killer instinct have to come into play. Yeah, I told you. Yeah, I ain't trying to see that fight, man. Like, I told you I'd watch it if it come on, but I ain't asked for it. Caitlin versus me, I ain't want to see that. I ain't asked for that. We got too much going on now. Too much going on in this division to make that fight. James G said Chikagan versus Juliana Velasquez would have been interesting, I think, at least. That'd be a good fight. Chikagan's busyness might give Velasquez problems, though. Velasquez takes a lot of rounds to be cautious. Yeah, Torres got Dern right now, so I mean, eventually Ebos versus Torres, but Torres is fighting Dern in 2 weeks? Yeah, the next card ain't for UFC we ain't got for another 2 weeks, y'all. And when we come back, I'll make sure I'll try to do a fight companion for it, that one. Because 2 weeks is a long time. Now we getting spoiled, right? But like I always, like I said, make sure y'all hit the like button. Keep this thing going for a few more minutes here. I tell you what, Chikagan is a problem, though. For a lot of these fighters that aren't up on their hands, man. So it could be ugly for Manon, but if Manon really wants it, she can go ahead and nip it in the bud and go after her and take her out. That's what Valentina did. Valentina said, shoot, I'm taking you down. I'm beating you. I ain't going to be on the outside respecting your game. I'm taking you out, dominating every minute. How many rounds did she last? 3 rounds? Caitlin lasted 3 rounds with Valentina. Yeah. But anyways, let's jump to this last fight I wanted to talk about here. Yeah, let's get into it, man. Stammer said, can Ebos get Jan, or do the timelines not align? I mean, she probably could. I mean, Jan honestly didn't take too much damage. She didn't take too much damage in the Marina Rodriguez fight, right? So I think Jan could maybe fight as early as June, right? Because let's see, June will mark like a year since the Carla fight. And since then, she only fought Carla and Marina Rodriguez. So I think maybe Ebos in June or July wouldn't be a bad idea. Ebos and Yan. Shoot, that could happen. I would take that. Mark Robinson, unfortunately, Maya seems to have good skills but low IQ. Yeah, Chikay will be the first high skill IQ person Manon will face, I think. Yeah, I think so too. You know, Maya was the test, you know, the experienced, the tough fighter, you know, promoted some threats, but, you know, Chikagan's going to be the one with the high IQ here. High IQ, high cardio, high volume. A lot of dangerous things going into this fight. You know, not dangerous as far as knockout, but it's dangerous of making Manon look bad. You know, that's what Caitlin does. Caitlin makes you look bad, right? But yeah, I'll take that fight, though. I've been wanting to see that fight if she got to this point. What else? Yeah, let's jump to this fight, man. Grasso and Wood. Where is Sleight of Mind at? You know, he was one of the commenters talking about I'm ducking. I don't do a stream. I didn't do a stream yesterday because I didn't want to talk about Grasso beating Wood. I already dropped the video talking about it. But I'm here now. And he ain't here. I mean, hey, you saw what happened. It's like I said, though. I'm going for JoJo. But I know Grasso can do this. Because, I mean, Grasso just has the freshness to her. You know, we've seen it time and time again where JoJo just doesn't come through and doesn't improve, right? So let's talk about it. Grasso and Wood. I said a submission was possible for Grasso, you know, if it goes to the ground. But if it stays standing, JoJo was going to have her moments. And let's not lie, you know, even for the one round that we saw, JoJo did have some pretty good moments in this fight. You know, JoJo was using her front kick. She was landing a few good combinations. So that made Grasso resort to the ground. You know, she resorted to the ground here. You know, in the midst of JoJo landing a spinning back fist, she said, boom, taking it down, gonna get her out of here. Sad part is JoJo didn't even know how to, like, respond to, like, Grasso getting it back. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, here it goes. This is over. You know, I was like, this is bad. This is over. Like, she's not one to know how to defend this rear naked choke. Like, it's kind of a similar position like Stamp, what Angela Lee has Stamp in, you know, but at least Stamp had, you know, more growth in her camp to defend to a certain point. But, you know, that was before it, you know, got high level, you know, still, that was before Angela Lee really started putting that high level grappling on Stamp. But here, it didn't take a minute. You know, it didn't even take a minute for Grasso to lock it in. So that just shows you, like, that level of ground skill JoJo has and what Grasso's been working on. You know, so I think, you know, moving forward, one question was answered here, that a couple of questions, you know, Grasso can finish. Grasso has been working on her ground game, and she is becoming a lot, you know, she's becoming more well-rounded here. And that's why I said well-rounded is, you know, well-rounded is not necessarily just going in there doing what you want to do, but doing something different if you're forced to at the time. Like, you know, JoJo started to use her striking here, and, you know, she was touching Grasso. Like, she was having her moments, but instead of making it competitive, Grasso said, let me go ahead and take advantage of this moment after her connecting, you know, not too hard with this spinning back fist. And from here, I can take her down and hopefully get the submission. And boom, it came just like that, right? So that's well-rounded, you know. So she showed well-roundedness and ability to finish. I like that. So yeah, like I said, it ain't nothing. I knew this was coming. I'm riding with JoJo all day long. And who else was picking JoJo? Wanted to see her win on think Brian Williams was going for it. So I knew the outcome. I just was riding with my fighter. That's all. And it's not a bad thing that Grasso won for me. You know what I mean? Grasso's new blood is needed. So it's cool with me. I'd rather see JoJo leave the game now because, like I said, I've been following her for years and I've seen where she's improved and I've seen where she hasn't. And there's been a lot of moments where she hasn't. More so, real talk. That's how I do. I ain't gonna lie. Until she's made this vast, dramatic improvement from 2015 to now, or even 2018 to now, because she hasn't. And the way she's been losing and the weaknesses she's been showing, I just been like, man, like, you're going to get ate up at flyweight. And that's what's been happening. Like, everybody in the top five has defeated her. Andrade at 115, Murphy, Chikagan, Maya, now Grasso. Who did she beat? Andrea Lee and Jessica I. At a little 7 fights. 2-5. Who else did she beat? Ariane Lipsky on a low level. So I can't sit here and lie and say, oh man, like, she's got more left in the tank. She don't. Taylor Santos put her on that list. So, it sucks. It's how it is, end of an era sometimes, with these fighters. But, she's doing the wife thing and the family thing. That's better for her. And I mean, if her husband is her trainer, I'm not sure. Sometimes that goes hand in hand, like, because you got to push that person to that next level. I mean, if they're more so like in chill mode, I mean, that might be time to just say, if you're more in chill mode than in kill mode, it's time to hang it up. Brian Williams said, JoJo is winning the round. The way they feel was flukish and Grasso had her back just because of how they fell. But JoJo's not being able to defend just lets us know that the contender days are gone. Yeah, they're over. Yeah, but that was the thing, like, when it landed, like, she could have backed up, but, I have to give Grasso credit because she did say, look, in her mindset, first thing I'm going to do is go down here. I'm going to take her down and just, lock it in. I think old Grasso wouldn't have went for such a opening, but she did, and she wanted to get that finish. That's why, I said, okay, she's getting credit for that. But, yeah, I thought JoJo was doing all right on the feet, but that just shows you the evolution of the game. Like, not everybody going to stand there and bang and take them shots. Mojo said Grasso actually would be on a 5-fight win streak now if she hadn't got robbed against Carla. Oh, yeah. Took her foot off the gas, right? Mark said, first I thought Grasso and JoJo fell to the ground haphazardly, but Grasso actually intentionally shifted JoJo's weight to get the takedown that led her to getting JoJo's back. It wasn't pure luck. Yeah, it wasn't like a luck thing. It was just, to me, it was a moment where she said, I'm gonna act like a grappler. I'm gonna take this thing to the ground because there's an opening. Like I said before, you might have just ate the spinning back fist and kept it moving, or maybe clenched up. But here, she actually said, there's an opening. I'm gonna take her down, and her back is wide open. Well, before we talked about, before the fight, Stamina, I had said that her defense was never really like airtight. Like, Grasso never really moves her head. Like, Grasso always has her chin tucked and her hands at her chin and her temples. She always has them like side. Her hands at her sides of her face by her chin, and she still gets hit. So it was never really like airtight. It's more of her offense that, she gets in and gets out. Her speed, that's really her defense. But she was dealing with, like I said, a Muay Thai fighter that was going to put the pressure on, like JoJo. JoJo was going to let it go. And that's why she got hit a lot, because JoJo doesn't throw just one shot. So throw more than one, something's going to land. So dealing with JoJo, you're going to get hit, I think, especially if you don't really move your head. If you just got the little defense like she does, it's, shots are going to get through. Because, Grasso started off, tagged JoJo with a couple right hands. JoJo came forward, started putting that, the front kick to work, came up with some good 1-2s, hit Grasso with some good right hands, good push kick to the stomach when they got back up, good spinning back fist, and that's where she said, okay, it's time to adapt and take it down, adjust and take it down. Mojo said Grasso actually would be on a 5. Yeah, I read that. Okay, he's a Mojo. I picked JoJo too, but kind of knew better. Was hoping for her to win. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, you picked it too, Mojo and Brian. I know I was trying to pick her, man. And I wanted to see her do something, man. But dang, man, that sucks. 2 rear naked chokes in a row. And every time they lock in, it's like she never defends them. Like, it's just like so easy for these fighters to get it off on her, right? Uh-oh. Here you go. Brian said they expected the what attacks, and the plan was to take her down off of the spins. Okay. You mean the back fist attacks? The song attacks. I'll wait for you to get your keyboard back, because I know somebody stole your keyboard again. Somebody jacked your keyboard again. So I'll wait for you to fix that. Mark Brown says, I really like JoJo, but honestly, she kind of pooped the bed in this fight. This fight should have been much more competitive and longer. At its potential, deserved to be co-main. I agree, man. Like, I saw this fight as her moment to shine a little bit. She was in there with finally like a smaller fighter that gave her the space she needed to look good. But yeah, she let it go, man. Like, I guess she thought that Grasso just was going to box. And at the pre-fight interview, she said she was going to plan on boxing. And it was like she kind of pushed the whole ability, the whole thing about getting taken down out of her head. Like, no, Grasso ain't just going to stand with her. Like, Grasso's going to go for some takedowns here. I said that too. So her main focus was to think this was going to be boxing. No. That's where she did kind of, she flubbed it up there. Ernest said JoJo married a coach too. It just seems like female boxers don't get into relationships with their coach as much as MMA do. They? No, they don't. I think Jessica McCaskill is. I think Jessica McCaskill is with her manager more so, I think. But majority of the times, not as much. I see it more in MMA, honestly. I see the guys in the camp more so. I think Sabina Mazo, her boyfriend, is in there. Yeah, JoJo, this is like, I think, the second coach that she's in her corner and married to as well. I don't know, man. It's just a tough thing to kind of mix together. That's just me from the outside looking in here. Like, yeah, then you got Pat, Barry, and Rose together. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But yeah, I don't know. Majority of the times I don't really look at it as I don't know. I can't say. I can't say it fully, but I mean, yeah, you see it more in MMA, I think. Anyways, Grasso took advantage. She did what she was supposed to do, got her first finish in the UFC. I know that sucks because JoJo became her first finish, right? So from here, all I can think of is JoJo hanging it up. Maybe one more fight. Like, It's got to be down the list just to really see if it's gone. That's me being lenient. You know what I mean? Like maybe one more just to see if it really is out of there, if the thrill is really gone. As for Grasso, like next, let's talk about this. All right, for the chat, let's ask a chat question. Were a lot of questions answered for you about Grasso? Like, do you see Grasso as a legit threat for flyweight? Yes or no? That's for y'all in the chat. I'm gonna answer it as well. But what do you think? Off of the win, do you see Alexa Grasso as a legit threat to the flyweight division? Yes or no? That's what I've been meaning to ask. Because like I said, there's a question mark still over Grasso in this division. Like, look, I like her style, like her skills, but there's just something about the build that's very important here. You know, you got to be strong for this division. Ulysses said, how old is she? JoJo is 35. JoJo is 35, Ulysses. So it's time. It might be time. Let's see. She's been with Syndicate since 2018. Yeah, that's what I was. Yeah, I was right. Yeah, I was thinking that earlier. That's what I was saying. Like even from 28 to now, you know, she's been working with Roxy and a lot of great grapplers out there. But I haven't seen like a great deal of change in her style. Like I've always thought she should have just taken more of a Joanna approach. You know, that art of takedown defense, master that, and we'd be good to go, you know, but I don't know. Let's see. Lauren Murphy and her coach as well. Yeah. Yeah, Lauren Murphy and her coach. Yep. Robot Chicken said Casey versus JoJo for her last fight to pass the torch. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. That'll probably be the ending. Dang. That's crazy, though, because then Casey O'Neill will retire Roxy, possibly could retire Jessica I. Then she might retire JoJo. Wow. We'll have to start calling her Father Time instead of King Casey. She retires 3 fighters. Ooh. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Mazo. Yeah, I said Mazo. Yeah. Laz won. Yeah. Laz is one. Yeah. Of course, Nama Yunus. And yeah, of course, Antonina. All mixing business with pleasure. Yeah. Yeah. That's why for me, I'm not trying to, like I said, I don't want to step on their toes of what's working for them. But for me, personally, if you asking me, like, if I was training one of these fighters, no, I'm not dating it. You know what I mean? Like, no, I'm not doing that, because you want to see that fighter go through them trenches and through that fire. Like, I think, like, if you're more in a personal relationship, you want to protect that person more so, rather than put the armor on them and get them ready for the fight, right? You tend to cradle somebody that you tend to cradle and protect them if you're really more in a personal relationship. But I think if you're building somebody to step out on their own, if you want them to fly, you're going to prepare them for that world. You know what I mean? You're going to prepare them and make them tough. You know, you're going to push them. Instead of pampering, you're going to push them. And, you know, you're going to be on their behind, breathing fire up there, you know, at all times. In them rough times, you know. Of course, there can be that relationship where, you know, they're there for you. You know, you're there for them mentally and spiritually, because, you know, I think there has to be that type of connection with a trainer and their fighter. But that other type of relationship, like, I think father and son, or father and daughter in this case type relationship, they work better than, like, let's say the spouse. You know, that type of thing, if that makes sense to me. I mean, you've seen bad father-son relationships before in fighting, in boxing as well. You know, boxing has some bad ones, but they also have some good ones. Robot Chicken said legit threat, yes, to the division, not for the title. Ulysses said for the flyweights, big yes. For Valentina, big no. Yes. Mark Rem says I like Grasso as well, but yeah. Stamina said same thing. Yeah, okay. Mark Robinson says I like Grasso as well, but Grasso looks small in there. That's what I'll keep thinking of. Yeah, you read my mind. That's why I keep thinking about that. Like, her being small is still, usually it's not an issue for me with some fighters, but it's like Andrade. Andrade, she was enough for these other flyweights, but her still being small for the champion, you know what I mean? Grasso looks so small in there. I don't know how she's listed as only 1 inch less taller than JoJo. The lack of size and the power is going to be a problem. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, she may have submitted JoJo, but I mean, you got to have some pop on your shots in this division. Robot Chicken said you can't forget Cheyenne Bays. Cheyenne Bays. What about Cheyenne? Or Cheyenne Bellismus? What about her? Threat to flyweights? Oh, my bad. You talking about the relationship thing. Okay, yeah. I forgot. You talking about the relationship thing. Mark said if Grasso manages to be very successful at flyweight, it will be a triumph of speed, timing, technique over size and strength. Can you imagine Grasso fighting Sarge? I think she could win on her feet. Though. I think Grasso could actually win against Sarge on her feet. I think she has enough technique and angle, technique and skill to outbox Sarge. I think so. Like, yeah. Now, does she have the physical strength to keep her off of her? I don't know. But I think I'll still have to go with Grasso in that one, Mark. I don't know. Oh, BJ, what's going on? He said no notification. No notification went through. See, them notifications don't go through, man. Dang, see, that's what I'm saying. They don't go through. And, I was on the move, so I jumped on kind of late, too, so I might forgot to send out a message to you, because I jumped on this mother 30 minutes late. I said I was going to be at 7:30. I just got on at, 8? A little after 8. I was on the road, man. I said, man, I got them waiting. Bellissima's situation is a bit different. Yeah, I guess it is a little different, Stamina, because, yeah, she is, it is different, because she's not dating her trainer. She was dating another fighter, right? BJ said Grasso has pop. She rocked Macy Barber. Yeah, because she stepped into it. She did step into that punch, but it was not much pop in the third round. You know what I mean? Like, I think overall, yeah, she's got some good, precise punches, but they don't thud, man. They don't thud enough. Because she ain't really, stopped anybody with her punches yet, I mean, right now we can say that her power is about as effective as Caitlin Chikagan's is, right? Let's just be real. Like, Grasso throws pretty punches, but you may have rocked Macy. Hey, shoot, Caitlin Chikagan kind of stunned Jennifer Maia a couple times in their fight. But overall, I think Caitlin Chikagan and Grasso, they have about the same amount of pop, The thing is, Caitlin's a heavy volume shooter, you know what I mean? And she's big and she's long. That's why she's been so much more successful, Her defense is more so sound. Mojo said, I don't think Valentina has a pet rock, much less a boyfriend or spouse or a cat. She's all about the here and now. Yeah, she's about the sport of the MMA, man. And I mean, that's how you have to be. I think, if you really, really want to do this and make it. Misha versus Valentina, UFC 279. Oh boy, Ulysses crazy. I don't want to see that. Yeah, Will Smith stunned Chris Rock. Yeah, he did. I don't think that was really worth it though, man. That's my opinion. I mean, he should have just took care of that later, man. Take care of business later. In my opinion. Robot Chicken said, give Gatto Lauren Murphy. Not yet. Yeah, eventually, but not yet. Eventually, yes, but not yet. Give Gatto Lauren Murphy, win or lose. No, well, if she loses to Miesha Tate, yeah, let Gatto fight her next, Let's see what Gatto does against Tracy Cortez, though. Mark said, I would also go with Grasso if she fought Sarge. I'm just saying it's probably only a matter of time before Grasso gets her face grounded and pounded by someone who's too big for her to get off of them. Oh, yeah, I know. That's what, yeah, I see it coming, man. Because it's like, it's something you have to look at. The bigger and more physical the fighters are, that's something to look at. Yeah, it's still something I'm looking at here with Grasso. That's what I'm saying. Like, this was a good win though. With JoJo, I just want to see the next level here. Like, Jennifer Maya is a good name. But what do y'all think? Let's go on. Let's move on then. Let's ask the next question. I talked about this earlier. Now, things have changed. Things have changed from July until now. Alexa Grasso, this recent interview, they got it titled, what is this? Mackenzie Dern, Tisha Torres going to try to overwhelm me. I'm going to have to look at that interview later. So Alexa Grasso hopes for a title shot this year. What about that? What do y'all think about that? Alexa Grasso hopes for a title shot this year. Now, just back in July, Grasso did another interview where she said that she needed a lot more experience before she was going to take on the champion. Now, is that she just riding high off the win? Or do you think she's really ready now? I mean, if you said no to the question earlier, I mean, what are your thoughts on her thinking that she's ready for a title shot this year, though? Because I pulled this up earlier and I read it, just in case y'all missed it. Because I just think this is interesting because just back in July, 6 months after the Macy fight, and then on, a bit of a longer layoff, she said that she wanted to fight many more times. And she said the more I fight, the more experience I'll have. That's going to help me get to the top. I don't want to just be a challenger. I want to fight for the belt, and I want the belt. I want to win it. Right? That was just back in July. And since then, not much has happened as far as fight-wise. Just Macy, now JoJo. Right? So what really has changed since then? I don't know. Well, no, Stammer, this ain't an article. This is the actual interview. These are the actual live interviews that I was listening to. So, believe me, I shut them things down all the time, I'm one of the ones that had to expose that Zhang Wei Li whole debacle, So I don't be looking into too much clickbait over here, man. I'm actually going off of vocal recordings from the fighters themselves. Cause let's see, I'm looking at one YouTube interview here where it's coming straight out of her mouth. And then I'm looking at the one from the post-fight that's coming straight out of her mouth. So it's not an actual article. These are actual videos. So, yeah. Mark Robinson said, I know she's on hiatus, but I think Tatiana could probably do to Grasso what she did to Carla. I don't want to see that. I think Tatiana could probably do to Grasso. Wait, you said she could do to Tatiana. Tatiana could probably do to Grasso what she did to Carla. What she did back at 115. Do you mean if they fight again? Yeah. I mean, yeah, if they did fight again, because Tatiana beat both of them. Yeah, Tatiana already ragged out both of them, Carla and Alexa Grasso. So, if you mean if they were to fight again, I think Grasso would try to avoid that fight for now. Yeah, like BJ said, yeah, she destroyed her. So, that already happened. So, I think she probably wouldn't want to go for that fight now. Brian Williams said, realistically, Grasso needs 2 more wins, but the rankings come out tomorrow. She could find herself in the top 5 depending on how they shuffle things. I don't know, man. I don't know if she should be top 5 yet, though. I hope not. Maybe 6. Just to, I don't think she'll jump over Lauren Murphy yet. I'm really curious as to see where Miesha Tate falls in, too, when she gets here. I'm curious to see when they take Andrade out and Calvillo out and see how that shifts everything. Robot Chicken says he's more impressed with Grasso over Maverick for the moment. Oh yeah, of course. I mean, you're looking at levels of experience in. You're definitely looking at 2 different levels of fighters. So yeah, I agree with that, Robot Chicken. So I wouldn't even really compare the two. You're talking about an unranked fighter versus a top 10 fighter. So yeah, I'm more impressed with what Grasso's at right now, but I'm still not counting Miranda out for where she's at. So yeah, I'm not even. That's kind of like even to me saying, I'm more impressed with Grasso than I am with Gatto. You know what I mean? I got to look at where the fighters are at, where they've evolved, how they've gotten better over the years. T, what's going on? Samus, I think a difference for Grasso now versus then is that she can see/visualize a path for her to contention with the division laid out the way it's presently. So it's not as unrealistic. I guess. Again, not much has changed to really have it laid out. One win and then it's like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, I haven't really seen like much change because we're talking not like a laid out game plan. We're talking about experience. Like she said in this interview, that seemed to be her main goal, was to gain experience. Unless you just mean like how she visualizes her goal, like not just how the rankings are laid out, but you mean like visualizing her path, like, okay, I see what's coming. But to me, I just say like that's a big change from only fighting one time, and versus when you said you need more fights, right? Straya, what's going on? I'm just up in here talking about all your wrong picks and my wrong picks. But like I said, man, it's all good because Straya, these fights were good, man. It didn't matter how everything turned out, Everything turned out fine with me when it came down to it. Like, I enjoyed everything I saw. For real. Bro, I'm going to see if they finally remove Andrade and move Maya out the top 5. Grasso moves into 5. It also depends on what they do with Manon. Yeah. I think I said this earlier. I'll say it again, though. Like, Manon's probably going to get done like Andrea Lee. Like, she's not going to take Jennifer Maya's spot. Andrea Lee, when she moved up 6 spots to fight Calvillo, when she beat her, they kind of subtracted the difference and gave her that middle part. They didn't give her Calvillo's spot. So the same thing is going to work here. Let's be realistic. She jumped up 9 spaces. They don't give you that number 4 spot. They're probably going to give her 7 or 8, 6 at most. She'll probably be like 6 through 8. Okay. So that really, I know a lot of people, just before they, it really makes sense. So a lot of people, before y'all start to say Manon is going to be in number 4 or get mad about that, I don't think so. They're going to do like Andrea Lee when she beat Cynthia Calvillo. I think Andrea Lee was like number 12 and Calvillo was like number 5. That was like a 7-spot difference. So Andrea Lee beat Calvillo. She winds up being what? Number 7, right? So watch this. Manon will probably come in here. Now if she rockets the from before, then it's like, okay, now they're just ready to get her a title shot. But more than likely, she's going to fall into that, 6, 7, 8 range maybe. So, yeah. Stray said, Grasso ain't ready for title shots. Needs to see if she can beat a few other contenders first. I'm not sure she beats a few of them. Yeah. Honestly, I would like to see her and Jennifer Maia. I think that's an interesting matchup. I think so. Right. So that's. Oh yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So yeah, it could open up her. It could open up her top 5 spot. We'll see. Oh boy, you call. Oh, High Five said. Oh, come on, man. Stamp ain't no hype job. A girl still got skills. I mean, she just got work to do, but she ain't no hype job. Yeah, Manon pulled it off. Yeah. So did Grasso, but come on now. Angela Lee. Angela Lee's a good fighter, but I mean, Stamp is not a hype job. I mean, if you ask Angela Lee, she'll tell you the same. This ain't no hype job. She earned that spot. Mark said, I say Grasso should go for the title shot. It's only a matter of time before she loses again. I don't think Grasso beats Manon, Santos, Gatto, or Chikagan. Arujo and Murphy could also beat her. Dang. Shoot. I mean, I really can't say there's any lies there. I mean, when I look at what Santos offers, out of all of them, I think Murphy would be the most beatable. And I'm just pushing it. I'm really just trying to choose. I'm really just trying to pick somebody. Like, I think Lauren Murphy, I think Alexa could pull out that win. But even then, that size might be a problem. You know, Murphy knows how to use her size. I mean, Stray says some stats for y'all. What do you got? Grasso versus Manon, boy. Boom. Yeah, that's a big fighter right there. Especially the way Manon taking people down. She might actually do what Suarez did. Striking could be some problems too. High five, what's going on? He said, if Grasso beat JoJo easy using a submission, I can imagine a healthy Tatiana being a great threat to any flyweight. You know, I will separate the two. I mean, Grasso beat JoJo. You know, JoJo doesn't really have that evolved ground game, so I can't even really put that there. I know what you mean, though, on that note, but I wouldn't even use that as a comparison to say a healthy Tatiana comes back. Because, I mean, healthy Tatiana does come back as a big threat regardless. Like, you know, I think a healthy Tatiana at flyweight makes a lot of noise. Uh-oh. Robert Henry, you late for the second time, man. You either late for this stream or you're early for the one tomorrow. I don't know. You either real early for the one tomorrow. I don't know what it is. Or we know you late for the first one I did earlier today at 4. So come on now, Robert Henry. Nah. Hey, I was late. Robert. I came on at like 8 o'clock. Said I was gonna be here at 7:30. Didn't come on until 8. So hey, you know you ain't the only one. I'm the one doing the stream. I show up late. All right, well, Robert, what are your thoughts on some of these fights, man? What'd you think, man? Shoot, man. The girls done got taken out. JoJo got taken out. Carol Rosa got beat. Only one that pulled through for me was Manon. She had to shut everybody down. Mastermind said Tatiana beat them all, including the current champion. Dang. Big words there on that, Mastermind. Dang, he said everyone. High five said everyone, including Valentina. Straya says some stats for y'all. Manon used 109 right hands, kicks, knees, etc. She used 19 left hands and 6 kicks. Explain to me how she's a southpaw and only 6 kicks. I'm glad you brought that up. I think it's like the reverse Straya. Let me see. How do I explain this? It's actually the reverse of, what was his name? No, I think it's the reverse of, hold on. There's an example, Straya, because you asked me earlier. Maybe she's not like a natural. Let me see. Is she not a natural southpaw? she's not a natural southpaw. Because there's some boxers I know that they're not natural southpaws, but they fight with their strong hand as their like right jab, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? I don't know why they do that, but they do. Like, I'm trying to think. Miguel Cotto, the boxer Miguel Cotto, he's a natural. It's like the reverse. Miguel Cotto is a natural southpaw, but he fights in an orthodox stance, and his strong hand is his left hand. So he uses a good left hook and a good left jab. Like, his right hand is okay, but he's doing the opposite of what Manon does. Like, Miguel Cotto is a natural left-handed person or fighter, but he always fights orthodox. You know? He always fights orthodox. Yeah, Mastermind said Manon used to fight orthodox if you watch her. Yeah, see? Yeah, I go back and look, yeah. But that's kind of the situation where that strong hand is kind of like the lead hand here. So she's not throwing as many left hands. So who knows? It might benefit her to go back to being orthodox a little bit here, right? Or switching it up. But yeah, I know Cotto, he does the opposite. You know, he fights orthodox. So, you know, he keeping that jab hand and left hook more present. Kind of like she does with her right. You know, she throws a lot of rights. And then that left hand just is there. You know, uses it a little bit, but she doesn't throw it as much. Oh, Roberts, I got the listening to your first stream when you had already been doing this one. Oh, okay. He said, I thought Manon looks really good against Maya. Dominate even. Yeah. She just needs to tighten up a few things defensively and mix it up with the striking a bit more. But I was impressed. Yeah, I agree, man. That's why I said, like, her defense is very important. Defense is important. Marcus said, my rule of thumb is don't fall for the banana and tailpipe until Tatiana comes back and we see her fight at flyweight. Exactly. Yeah, like, I can tell you what she could be, but I won't know until she comes here, you know? Like, Tatiana at strawweight was a beast. Tatiana at flyweight could be, but we don't know. Yeah, we just don't know. Yo, let's see. Grasso. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to talk about this again. I'm just kind of like, I'm like, Grasso says she won a title shot this year. I don't know about that. Because if Valentina fights 2 times this year, like, let's see. Her title shot could be, well, it's going to be Taylor 1. If Tate wins, you know, as much as it sucks, I mean, she could be the other one, or Manon could be the other one. And, you know, I don't think Alexa Grasso was going to jump ahead of Manon and some of these other fighters. So, who knows, man? If Andrea Lee goes in there and does something big against Viviane Araújo or vice versa, they could get it. They could very much well get it. Mastermind said Maya came to fight. Manon came to circle the octagon. Her right check hook and sidekicks. Good gameplay. Well, yeah, Maya came to. I won't say she came to fight because she didn't execute enough. Like, she should have came to win instead of just go in there and, you know, chase. Like Manon, she came to put a clinic on. You know what I mean? She came to fight on the ground, fight her fight, and make it work. You know, Maya came to chase because it went to the ground too, but she still couldn't handle it. I mean, you don't stand in front of somebody. You don't stand in front of somebody. Yeah, AM, he still got shut out. Still got 30-27. High five said, I'm really scared to see Manone's hands were down after her missing and landing side kicks. That Maya Carter with a head kick. Valentine's more accurate and kicks harder. Yeah. Robert said, your girl's going through it right now. I think she got a few good shots here and there. But that statue head movement gave Grasso so many easy shots. I actually thought the stand-up was favoring JoJo more. That's why, Grasso took it down. But eventually, you never know what could happen in that type of fight. But still. I ain't putting money on nothing in that fight, Mastermind. You put your money on that, I ain't doing it. It's just like all these fights. I wouldn't put any money on any of these fights. I knew they were good. I had my picks, but I ain't putting nothing. I would have put, if I was in a betting mood on this, I would have put money on Manone. That's about it. But I didn't put none on Carol. I wasn't confident in that. I picked JoJo as a fan pick, so that tells you something. I ain't put money on Stamp. Nope. So when it's going to be a 50-50 fight, just a good fight, I ain't putting no money on that. And I ain't going to put no money on Valentine versus Taylor either. Well, let me put this. I ain't going to put any money on Taylor going into this fight. No disrespect. I'm just saying, like, that's just wild thinking. Robert said, now that Grasso has finally gotten a stoppage, we can go back to making fun of. Oh, boy. He said we could go back to making fun of Chikeg and she wants to title shot with Chikeg. Nah, we ain't doing that, man. We can't do that. We still ain't going to do that because Chikeg can probably still beat Grasso. I ain't gonna fall for that, Robert. I ain't going to. No, we still not making fun. Because, hey, Chikagian answered the call. She answered the call from Manone. So, hey, she answered the call from Manone. She said she'd take the fight. She said she'd take the fight. So, hey, I got to give her more credit there. Yeah, but Grasso finally got a submission win. She finally finished somebody. But hey, she ain't still number one though, man. Somehow, some way, right? She's still the number one contender. Oh, I just saw your comment, Robert, on this other video. Yeah, I ain't playing with no simps up in here. I ain't playing with no simps when it comes to what I'm talking about. Like, I'm just basing it off the fighters and everything I seen and hear. That's why I said earlier, like Stamina talking about, he check them articles. I ain't reading no articles. I ain't doing no clickbait here. I'm listening to interviews. I'm going off of facts. We going off of facts. We going off of what's said out of the fighter's mouth. Yeah, you say I ain't playing with these simps. And on the other video, Rob, you crazy. That's what I said. Oh, man, I ain't. Mastermind said Chikeg beat Grasso any day. Yes. AM says, I really hope that Taylor beats Valentina. It would make things more interesting. It would. Like I said, if she wins, I'd be like, yeah, let's see it. Let's see. This other video, Straya said he did a breakdown of Manone's shots. He said the left hand in round 1, 13, round 2, 4, round 3, only 2. She only threw 19 left hands. The right hand total of 60 times, 27, 14, and 19. Right kick. Yeah, she was throwing a lot of right kicks. Yeah, she didn't really throw any knees or elbows in this fight. Maybe she was looking out for that. Maybe she was trying to watch out of getting hit with a clean right hand. I don't know though. Mastermind said, "Why is nobody calling out Andrade? I know she's fighting Lemos, but no one in flyweight calling her out. Come on, she's number one in the ranking." I'm glad you said that, because I was thinking that the other day when I looked at the rankings, Mastermind. I was like, Even before Lemos was, the only one that called her out was Jennifer Maia. I will give her credit. She did say I'll fight her in a rematch and beat her again, but ain't nobody called her out. Ain't nobody called her out. She still has a legit ranking. I'm going to talk about that later. Yeah, because I was looking at the division rankings and I was like, everybody calls out Lauren Murphy. They call out these other fighters, Caitlin, but ain't nobody calling out Jessica Andrade. Why? Robert said, I agree. That's a hard matchup for Alexa Grasso. I definitely still want to watch that fight with some Red Bull and a bowl of popcorn in front of me. Yeah, Australia. That's what I'm saying. That's what I think. Yeah, you see where I'm coming from with that. When you said Grasso was just on a high after beating JoJo, she don't want Valentina anytime soon. Yeah, I don't think so either. Because like I said, it was just back in January that she needed a number of fights, Yeah, nobody really wants smoke from Andrade, I don't think, right now. After that beating she gave GK, nobody want no parts. Hey, I wouldn't want to go out like that, though. I mean, if I was one of the other fighters, I'd still want to take that challenge. I still want to fight her. That's the only way you're going to prove yourself. Gabrielle said, what if Taylor throws a head kick to Valentina just as she did to Jessica I in the first title defense? That would be iconic, even though that will never happen. Anything is possible. I mean, as far as like landing one, but like taking her out, I'd be like, wow. I think that would be up there with Pena stopping Nunes, right? That would be crazy. Like Taylor getting a win that legit. I mean, Taylor's a finisher and she is a Muay Thai specialist. I mean, I can't really see it or envision it, but yeah, I mean, that would be crazy. Robert said, when I heard you responding to folks these days, I think y'all gonna bring the old me back. Then I said, it's the same me. Yeah, it's the same. You're just giving me more reason to, It's the same. Like Chef Jaco, yeah, it's the same. You're just giving me more reason to. Cause look, Robert, where is he at? He calling me out, sleight of mind. I was on here for a minute, and he talking about he said I'm ducking. I told him I was coming on Monday, and he still ain't here. Like I said, I'm wherever it is. I'm wherever the fire is. I made it clear that I wasn't gonna be on till maybe Sunday, but I was busy. But other than that, I said, I'm always here on the mic. I'm always here. And I make my own hours over here. So I was like, hey, if I say Monday, I'll be on here Monday. Maybe not on the button, but I'll be here. Valentina gets an immediate rematch. Yeah, she does. Yeah, always. She gets it no matter what. She'll get hands down, she gets her rematch. No matter how the fight ends, she gets her rematch. Because believe me, Valentina, if she loses any type of fashion, like she's going to be steaming hot to get her belt back. She'll be steaming from like a controversial decision, I think, more than just like a stoppage win. Because stoppage, that's legit, where she'll be humbled and she'll realize I made the mistake. But if they would rob her in like a fight where she felt like she did enough, she'd be like, yeah, I'm coming back hard. But yeah, y'all, I stayed on a little bit longer just because, I got off. I came on late. So, oh, yeah. Just DM me, yeah. But it's time to go. I'm about to roll out here. Yeah, overall, man, like I said, it was a good fight weekend. I don't like I said, like when the picks didn't come up, I was just like, oh man. But I couldn't complain because they were all good fights. I mean, I was just disappointed in Carol Rosa, her performance. Even Stamp a little bit, but I think that's just a learning experience. They didn't go out there and give up, so there was no quit in them, so that's all right. So I'm about to get up out of here. Like always, shout out to the chat. Make sure y'all hit the like button and the bell icon. Somebody mentioned that. Yeah, hit that bell icon. That gives you a notification because, again, somebody said that they haven't been getting them. Mark, I think you haven't been getting them. So you hit that notification, that little bell icon. I think it gives it to you. So, yeah. Let me see. Be back on Wednesday or Thursday. And we'll talk about some more things about bantamweight division. But yeah, shout out to everybody in chat. Let me get up out of here, y'all. Make sure y'all subscribe if you haven't. Combo Breaker 99. I'm out. Subscribe. Peace.